Very much, Excellency. I have the honor to speak on behalf of the Caribbean community at this very important dialogue on climate finance, and I wish to thank my Caribbean colleagues for entrusting me with this responsibility. Madam Chair, this question of funding is a crucial one for our region because the cost of climate change impacts has already exceeded our limited domestic resources. Many of us are forced to resort to debt financing to deal with our ex-ante adaptation requirements and the ex-post cost of recovering from the damage and destruction left by these extreme events. Furthermore, the increasing frequency of extreme weather events retards our developmental progress as we find ourselves in a constant cycle of rebuilding, rehabilitating, restoring, and recovering, as opposed to developing and building resilience. The threat to the very existence of nations such as ours is very real, and our CARICOM nations extend their heartfelt sympathy to our Philippines brothers and sisters on the recent passage of yet another devastating typhoon, roughly 1 year from the last. It is a well-known fact that adaptation to the adverse impacts of climate change can go only so far when faced with irreversible and permanent loss and damage. Therefore, we welcome the support that would be available through the financial mechanism of the Convention designed to allow the needs and concerns of SIDS to be addressed and to facilitate our participation in a manner that is deemed appropriate to our national circumstances. In this regard, we further welcome the operationalization of the Green Climate Fund, and we note that the initial pledges have almost reached $10 billion. This is a good start, but it is still far from the $100 billion per year by 2020. Consequently, we need to scale up the financing available and to have some predictability of the funding that will be provided between now and 2020. Madam Chair, how do we achieve this scaling up and predictability that we urgently require? I want to suggest there are 4 things we need to do. Firstly, we must be clear on our definition on what is climate finance. This may sound trivial, but it provides clarity to measure what is being received as climate finance. We have seen some parties repackage existing overseas development assistance, or ODA as we refer to it, reprogram it, and refer to it as new and predictable climate finance. This is incorrect. In our view, climate finance should be funds that are entirely aimed at addressing climate change and are new and additional to ODA. Secondly, there must be transparency in the provision and use of these funds to assess whether they are having their desired impacts and whether parties are actually delivering on the pledges they have made. Therefore, the monitoring, review, and verification of support has to be an integral part of the 2015 agreement. Thirdly, we need to explore new sources of finance. The work program on long-term finance of the UNFCCC has identified new innovative sources, such as auctioning of emission allowances, carbon offsets, financial transaction taxes, carbon taxes, and levies on market mechanisms, among others. Fourthly, we seek a commitment to simplify preconditions for access, as well as improve and prioritize such access by small island developing states and other vulnerable countries to post-2015 climate finance. We must start working with these issues to realize their potential long before 2020. Madam Chairman, developing countries are willing to embark on the Green Development Plan and build climate resilience, but we lack the capacity and resources to do so. Therefore, we look forward to a political commitment and a global agreement for the annual scaling up of financing towards the 2020 $100 billion mark, with milestones set for the years between 2015 and 2020. This would provide developing countries with the finance predictability that we require to embark on programmatic and transformational approaches that would strengthen our resilience to the impacts of climate change. I thank you.